Welcome, all you Drangir and Shield Maidens, to this week's edition of Dropping the Hammer. I'm your host, Warhammer. First thing, I want to start off by saying a happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Today was your day. So, uh, I will start off by saying recently I was able to um, be in a pinning ceremony for my father. Didn't really know he was going to participate, but it was last weekend when I did the um, joint forces match in Carthage and got to honor my father for just a minute. That was good for me. And then this morning, I got breakfast with him. So we're also trying to plan a family vacation here coming up this week. So, going to spend some time with my father, and that's what should be done today, if that's the ability. I understand some people do not have their fathers. That's unfortunate. But for everyone that can, definitely celebrate your father for today. Yeah, I know I kind of posted today was a little bit rough. I'm not going to go into it, but just a little bit of back and forth, and just weigh in on me, like a lot of things. So, but yeah, tonight we will talk about League of Lions 200th episode, 200th show. It's he said 14 years. 14 years of being in the same location, the same name, essentially the same ring, not having to move at all. And that's really big. It's really big. So 200 episodes, match or shows, whatever you want to call it, 14 years of doing things. I mean, there was no better place to be than in Marshall, Texas last night, and there was like I said, a all-star card, banger matches. I'm trying to think of adjectives for the night, trying to, I guess, show off my vocabulary. I need to simmer down a bit. But yeah, it was a big show. A lot of good matches. I don't think anybody, became champion or anything like that, but a lot of people proved their spots, proved they deserve pushes, things like that. I myself was going to be a fatal four, and then somebody else got added to it. So I'm not sure what to call. I mean, it was, brutal five. I mean, it's already fatal four. There's nothing that kind of works with five. But it was Sean Cordova, who I've wrestled a couple times. It was Matthew De Luna. I've wrestled him a couple times under his current gimmick and his previous gimmick. There was Cutthroat Chris Grimes. I've wrestled him a couple of times. And champion Christopher Hayden. Obviously, I said nobody, no one became champions that night. So obviously Hayden retained, but We had a quick, I think, brutal match. Um, you know, it's got a phone call. I'm sorry, I got distracted. We had a quick. They said we went 5 minutes. Uh, it's it is hard to tell time in the ring. Normally, I'm going short on a match just because I kind of feel the roller coaster is at its peak. The people need to have a finale. So I'm usually kind of ready to go home at those times. Last night was kind of one of those situations where we planned everybody to get a little bit in and then kind of work to the finish. Well, I mean, it was beautiful. We did exactly what we did, but apparently it was only 5 minutes of wrestling. To me, I'm okay with that. I kind of take when they give us times, I take it curtain to curtain, from the first curtain to the last curtain, you've got this amount of time. But some people like to say you've got this many minutes in your match. Without entrances, we had 5 minutes of wrestling, but there was five people there. So there was a lot of time to just bring people out. Everybody got to walk around. Uh, I wanted to have footage. I was hoping to do a watch party, but people were clapping to my music. Never had that before. I mean, it's funny. I no longer know whether I'm face or heel in certain locations because it, it doesn't matter. I can do what I want. It's more I'm living the gimmick. I am using the gimmick to its fullest potential, whether I'm needed to be face or needed to be heel. But in this situation, it really didn't matter. There's four other people. I can just be Warhammer. I did get to kind of be serious and silly at the same time. For those that know, De Luna and Kane, that was his previous gimmick. Um, at one point, I had to come into the ring and kind of show off a little bit. So what I did was I had to enter the ring from outside because I had been thrown out and knocked out, and I had to spend some time outside. I came back in and immediately speared Kane. But in doing so, I thought he's a little bit bigger than me. So what I need to do to sell him and the impact, I'm going to be Uzi as well. It's to me, it's very similar. Like when I body slammed Maui Mike, I body slammed him, but then the concussion, the shock wave was what I called it when I was describing it to him, of awesomeness, shockwave of awesomeness. The ref and I take a bump, but I got back up, roared, and acted like I was, super pumped and jazzed, and then fell back down and collapsed. It took everything out of me to body slam him. All I knew was to celebrate and, fall. I, to me, that was honoring him and thanking him for letting me body slam him. So, you know, me not being able to pick up Kane after knocking myself silly from the spear, it took me a minute to be able to move him, which is fine. I got him up, gave him a couple splashes, did some of I think my big moves. I didn't really do anything too showy, but again, we had 5 minutes, we didn't know it was 5 minutes, but you know, it's a time warp, and I'm not gonna sing, I'm not gonna sing, I'm not gonna sing, I'm not gonna sing. But in the ring, you do lose track of time, and we to us, we'd rather give what we all talked about when we found out we were short. Um, we'd rather give a hard hitting nonstop 5 minutes than too much of a roller coaster where there's downtime and it's forgettable. And again, there's 5 people, and if each person takes a minute 10, that's a standard entrance. So that's 5 minutes and 50 seconds. That's 6 minutes, of nothing. Nobody has wrestled, nothing. So add that to our five. I think we were told 10 to 15. So to me, that puts us right there on schedule. Maybe we could have, I don't know the total time. Like I said, I was hoping the video would be up. We'd do a watch party. It feels like I haven't done a watch party in forever. Um, Unfortunately, there will be no footage of the Rumble that I was in last week. There was a problem with the SD card. It happens. So to me, that was the Rumble was for the fans in attendance that night only. And I'm good with those special moments because I truly love wrestling. I think I understand it. There were some good moments at Joint Forces, and it, the footage, the videos ended on a high note, and then the rest of the stuff was for the people in attendance. Those got local footage and stuff like that. People were saying they've got from such number to such number, but that's more to showcase their people and whatnot. So there's not a full sequence of things. I came in at 25, yeah, 25 of 30. So a lot of people had already stopped filming. The only picture I got of last week was a kick to the face from Aaron Storm, and I'm spun around, and it's basically of my butt again. What it is, always photographed from behind. So I was hoping for, the 200th episode, but it was not put up yet, and unfortunately, you know, that happens. That happens. So we will do a post watch party as soon as we can. But yeah, like I said, I did a spear, just a couple splashes, and had to be taken out for just a little bit. I ended up taking a curb stomp. I'm hoping I did decent in selling. Everybody in the back thought I smashed my face. Everybody in the back thought I did something to my nose and was upset, but they were worried that, Hammer's going to leak again. Hammer's going to need to go to the hospital again. I would one nosebleed away last time. So, this was, oh my God, I can't believe it. But I told them when I went down, I had cupped my nose. And still, I don't know if everybody else, how it looked to anybody else, but at certain angles, apparently it looked like I smashed my face on the ground. Um, from there, um, let me let me go back. Let me preface. So after everybody gets worked, we start what's called a waterfall, and that's where you see one wrestler do a move, and then another wrestler, and then another wrestler, another. Excuse me, and it's basically finishers and things like that. So in this finisher, I was able to put Odin's Curse, which is a fireman's carry power bomb, onto Sean Cordova. From there, I was hit with a forearm drop down and curb stomp, and I had to kind of roll to the side for a little bit because in the end, I had to take Hayden's, I believe it was a shotgun lariat, I believe is what they call it. Um, for that one where I kind of, that's where I kind of, I did try to oversell. I tried to sell for him. I tried to make him look big, and I paid the price. This is one of few times where I have hurt myself. Um, we've talked about when I've hurt myself very few times. So have gotten hurt many times, but usually never in my hands. So um, uh, hurt myself. How did I hurt myself? Yes, I took a high bump. Um, wasn't really trying to flip, but I know those guys that take a lariat and flip always make the guy look big. So that's all I could think of is, man, take this lariat and just try to get as much up and over, not really trying to flip, but just eat the lariat. And I certainly ate it. Um, I landed high on my shoulders, and my neck and back. So um, now I laid there for several minutes in the ring. Part of it was selling, part of it was not. A lot of it was selling, but I was also collecting my thoughts. I had just taken two finishers. I should theoretically be out. Even with my character, with my gimmick being unstoppable, two finishers, I have to acknowledge it to somebody. Somebody put me down. So that's what I thought I did. I laid in the ring. I was going to lay there the entire time. They could have made more announcements. It was kind of, send somebody out before Hammer. He's out. But they actually did come for me and helped me to the back. Once we got out of Gorilla, which is through the curtains, um, I nearly fell, just stumbled because I couldn't really stand up. Walked it off, got some ice, cooled off. What I did was I grabbed a handful of ice that we had and just started rubbing my head, rubbing my body, just iced myself down, and cooled off. Stood near a fan. It was okay. Man, got a little tickle. I need some water, and I didn't. Oh, I do. I do have water. Yeah, much better, much better. But yes, iced down, cooled off, walked on off, and it was okay. So ultimately, that's when we found out that it was only 5 minutes, and we all were like, we didn't stop for 5 minutes. So there's that. It's you didn't know what was going to happen, and we got in, got out, left all the time for, I don't want to say better matches, but more deserving matches. Um, Four ways are honestly when you're a wrestler and you're in the back and you're talking over your fatal four way, it's usually assumed to be just a cluster. You are expected stuff to just go wrong, and that's kind of the way this was engineered. We engineered it to go wrong but somebody else was able to just pick it up and pick the ball up and run. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing, and someone caught on. I don't really think we ever dropped the ball, but it was a, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing now. Hey, this is what I'm supposed, and it was a well-timed machine like match. I thanked every member. Going in, I thanked them, and coming out, I thanked them. Checked on them, make sure nothing was too much. I know when I spear, I can drive my shoulder into you. I can tackle you. I can do the Goldberg spear. But I pride myself on being able to, if you time it, as soon as I wrap my arms around you, we're both going to fall at the same time. And I essentially never touched you. I'm just, you know, grabbing as you're falling down. It because I'm trying to time my jump to where I'm already horizontal. I'm at maximum velocity. I'm not going to accelerate anymore. And it's essentially just a float to you so you can take it. I've speared I don't know how many people, and they've never felt a thing. I speared two guys at once, one with my bad arm, one with my good arm. You work one side, so you're more proficient with one side. So, you know, not usually catching somebody on my previously damaged arm, So obviously that was a different move for me, but neither one of them felt a thing, you know. That was a long time ago. That was Tiger T and JPV. Uh, you know, but all in all, like I said, this was a great match for the five of us. Everybody showcased something, smarts, talent, you know, size, you know. Everybody had something unique. And what's all of these guys were in the ring before I started wrestling. De Luna watched these guys for these 14 plus years. So to me, this was kind of fun, the number of years of knowledge in that ring. These two of these guys have shown me a lot in the ring. De Luna, shown me in different ways. But I mean that De Luna learned from the other two as well. So that's more what I meant. Even Chris Grimes. Chris was a ref for the first start. I've got a picture where Chris Grimes is a ref and he's raising up Rob Love's hand because he won a championship title. Well, in the background, and just you see them and they're this big. Well, I'm this big in the crowd, but I'm clear as day. It's my beard, and I've got I think a beanie or a hat on, but I've got a green hoodie. Like it was the same green hoodie I've got in my closet right now. So, it was kind of it's an honor to be in the ring with all these gentlemen at the same time. But Sean Cordova and Christopher Hayden, I'm not sure who has more experience. I'm not about to assume either one of them. Phenomenal workers. Those were the guides. Those were the match generals. Those guys played their part to a T. Us three guys training under those two, Christopher Grimes, Matthew De Luna, myself. all we could do is listen to them. We did perfectly, and like I said, gave them a 5-minute banger match, and to me, I'd rather go short on my match because most of my matches need to come out of surprise out of nowhere. The end is out of nowhere because it takes so much to put me down. Okay, now you're done. Oh my God, I didn't see that coming until he just pulled off this one phenomenal move. Okay, was not seeing that coming. It's a surprise element, just like cinema, movies, cartoons. That's what we crave. That's what I try to do. That's why I worked for the haunted house. You know, it's a haunted house reaches people at a base bottom level. Everybody's afraid of something. Everybody has a fear. It may be spiders, it may be dark places, it may be chainsaws, it may be the clowns, it may be this, that, the other. In a haunted house, you're going to get all of this. But to truly do well in a haunted house, it's more than just and you know just making sounds that will hurt your voice. Hey Jax, what's up, bud? I'm feeling okay. I got some inspiration. Um, I kind of sent out an SOS earlier to the Facebook, and it said anybody that has met me, shared a ring with me or a locker room with me, just tell me some good memories. And y'all have not disappointed, so thank you. Um, but yeah, Jax, we were just kind of talking. We've kind of missed most of it, but yeah, I was talking about the haunted house, and just being good at it because I tried to get inside people's heads. What is going to stick with them? Beyond the spiders, beyond Michael Myers, um, you know, beyond that haunted house didn't do movie stuff, so it was more natural stuff. More, you're really in this environment, so it was more visceral. But yeah, we'll talk about getting interviewed. That's a perfect thing. I still need an interview, I promise, um, but I played a clown. Mr. Tickles became the name just because of one incident, and Tickle Time became a thing, and um, a couple other things. Uh, we told people there was a safe word, and that meant we weren't going to scare you. And um, there was no safe word, so we just had people screaming "tater tot" back at the actors, and this started at the very front of the haunted house, worked its magic all the way to the back of the haunted house, where people had to find out why people are saying tater tot and what's tickle time about, and just all this. The greatest line was everybody would say, coming in, well, I hope y'all don't have clowns because I'm afraid of clowns. And no, we don't have clowns. There was just a clown. It was just me. So no, we don't have clowns. Don't worry about that. If you get past the one, if you can get past, and I was in the very first room. So, but the worse my voice got through breathing all the fake smoke and screaming and just the random stuff I was yelling in a weird voice, which also strained my voice. Um, the character just developed itself, and I gotta say, me and my partner, William, he and I kind of developed characters side by side, it- and we weren't even anywhere near each other in the haunt. We were just yelling out things. It was our voices that were connecting, and that's why it got so bad, because we were essentially taking care of half the haunt with just our voice, because people could hear us and they were either doing what we said or trying to figure out how to make us not scare them. And oh, okay, I got to repeat tater tot and tell all the people tater tot, and they won't do anything. And there's no safe words in haunted houses. Just so everybody is aware of that. But it was fun. Again, some other people commented. I'm gonna say Aunt Cindy. She's known my parents longer than I've been around. So, Aunt Cindy, thank you for your message. Several wrestlers, people that have interviewed me. I didn't get to read many. It was just I don't know when I sent it out. Five something, and then was already trying to do this at six, so I didn't really get a chance to read too many replies, but it was enough. It was enough, and I thank you. I'm gonna read them all. I'll respond to them all. So thank you to everybody who's reached out and left a message. So the last thing I'm going to talk about, I've got a match on the 27th this weekend. I will be in Orange, Texas, back with SWF. The Sons of Plunder will be wrestling. I'm not really sure who are wrestling. I apologize. Um, Thinking of another show in my head, so I can't connect dots. That's on me. Um, I'm gonna post something about it as quick as I can. I've got to go dig for a flyer. I apologize. Um, but yeah, I'll be wrestling down south this weekend. So sooner or later we will do another watch party of everything. Again, like I said, Carthage won't be any footage of the Rumble except for what somebody is able to post of me, but I'm not expecting that. The 200 episode of League of Lions will be posted. I'll do that watch party as soon as I can. And then on the 27th, we'll see how that goes. I'm certainly going to do a breakdown after that, but I may do the interview with my boy Jax. I keep telling him I'm going to interview him. I need to interview him. I'm going to promise you, Jax, I will interview you. But I also want to say happy birthday to my daughter. It's not today. It's in a couple days, but um, you know, um, happy early birthday, Moira. So thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for tuning in. Um, I know this was low energy. I'm off, but we're gonna get back in the swing of things. So thank you all for tuning in. Definitely tune in next week. We'll have more to talk about. Um, I'm going to get some footage of something very soon, I promise. So tune in next week and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, everybody. Good night.